What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back the day after we won, apparently, but we didn't win. We drew another game, and I actually need to applaud Tudor because post game he put a damper on what was looking like we actually won a game. The feeling was we won a game, among the fans, even journalists. The moment the game ended, they were describing it as a win, but it's not a win. And what Tudor had to say post game, I need to applaud that. The intentions were not going for a win in the second half, even though we said, we were the only team trying. I agree with that because Roma sat back and they were okay with it, but we never really went for it full force. However, he made it very clear that a draw is not good enough. And that I need to appreciate and I actually need to applaud. Before we get into it, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel because also Buffon chipped in and actually maybe took a shot. Okay, so first with a question I want to start. Does anyone, and this is a serious question, did anyone notice a different spirit among the players? If so, let me know in the comments because that's the first thing I want to know from you guys because I need that down the line. But yeah, we didn't win, and the feeling was that it felt like a win, not for me, but we played better. We didn't give up a lot of chances. It's Roma; they're the most informed team in Europe right now, which I agree, that, like factually they are, but they didn't play like that. That like context mattered. They didn't play like the most informed team in Europe. They played like a team being in eighth place or something, and we should be miles clear of the top four race. We drew way too many games, and that's the issue. Like we are in a situation where you cannot accept a draw, even if it's against an informed Roma team. You cannot accept that, and on top of that, the way the game developed, you can definitely not accept that. And what Tudor said post game, he said, it's a point, but it's not what we're playing for. We tried to win and we didn't win that game. So we cannot be satisfied with that. He said, I'm satisfied with the effort we put in and what we tried to do after 2 weeks or like a 1 week, 10 days of training. I think he said 10 days of training. He said, I can appreciate the effort and the willingness and the how do you want to like the belief the players have in what we were trying to do, basically, that he could appreciate, but not the draw. He said that is still not really acceptable. We play for the win. Now, that's something he says, but we need to address the situation as well. When you put in Savona and you keep Conceição on the bench. And again, that's not me saying that Conceição is an insane game changer and it's a guaranteed for success when you bring him in. No, it's not. However, it's a massive statement if you bring in him or Savona. So from that point of view, I cannot agree with it because he says the right thing. It's not a win, and we cannot, celebrate it or like we cannot accept it as a win. However, when you do that, it also shows me that you were okay with a point. And if you won that game, fair. But you didn't really were like obsessed about winning that game. And I know you can flip it and say it's a point, it's a point closer to top four. But Roma was there for the taking. They were not good. They were not good on the day. Usually they're much better lately. The last couple of weeks, they're much, much better at home, and they were not there. So I'm sitting there. I'm like, go for it. Because we need this win. We desperately need this win. I know we have Lecce, Parma, and Monza. And a lot of people are assuming we're just going to win those games. But we cannot assume anything. Look what Parma did against Inter. These teams are fighting relegation. They're not going to give you anything. They took a point of Inter fighting for the title. They're not handing you squat. They're going to fight for their lives. So there's no guarantee wins. That's why when you have the opportunity to try and win the game, you need to take it. And I believe there was an opportunity to beat that Roma side, but we didn't really try to take that opportunity. And for me, that's just frustrating. That's really frustrating. And I didn't really like that part where he said, I really tried to win that game, or we didn't really, like, we didn't have any real shot on target in the second half, like nothing, to consider a big chance or like, oh, we're gonna score here. There was nothing there. There's still some struggles with getting players involved in the play. Maybe his late subs with Vlahovic as well, and we have some vulnerabilities at the back, especially when you try to play that high and press and stuff like that. And you play vertical and you lose a ball in the middle of the pack. These things can happen. That being said, it's interesting that post game, even like it's 2 games, and I don't see it really. I'm too traumatized from what I've seen in the past, in the past couple of months or so, or years basically. But when Buffon comes out, he said, I see players who want to play for each other, and previous I saw players who were doing their own thing, so on. I'm not really with that right now. I didn't really saw the fight where I can agree with Buffon saying, oh, they want to play for each other, want to quote unquote, figuratively speaking, die on that pitch for each other. I didn't see that, I saw more an intent of we're gonna press together and we're gonna try to play simple, vertical, quick. That's fine. But I didn't really saw the 100% fight as a team, that type of vibe that Buffon was describing, or Beppe Bergomi, basically saying the same thing. Yeah, he said there's already a change, and maybe there's a change, but after 2 games and 10 days, I cannot sit here and say it's mind blowing or it's an eye opener. What a change! I can't. It's still the same players. It's still getting beat by a set piece, which he said post game. He said that's unacceptable. And we tried to tweak some stuff. He said, but still we lost physicality. We cannot take a free kick or a corner. We cannot beat the first man. So there's much change. Now the next 3 games are gonna be vital. Those are the games, if you believe in top 4, are going to tell you if you make top 4. If you pick up 9 points out of those games, then you go to Lazio and you try to do what you had to do. But if you struggle to pick up 9 points in the next 3 games, and again, they're not givens, but it's a must, then you're back to square one, and everything about pressing and seeing a massive changes, apparently, according to Buffon, seeing some clear differences already after 2 games, go out of the window and mean squat, Again, it's a point. We move on. Maybe I was a bit too harsh on my match reaction, but the Juve I want to see, the Juve I supported in the past, I still do right now, it's far off. And I have certain standards, and they're not being met at this moment in time. It's not even close. And I understand this team and whatever, and maybe this coach cannot set the standards I want to see for this club. But to go there, I'm not going to praise the most basic of stuff, like effort and grinta, all those buzzwords. Those are basic stuff. I cannot back that as, oh, it's a change, that's something insanely positive and so on. I can't, because I haven't seen it yet. I've not even seen that, the real quote unquote grinta where you actually go there for 90 minutes. I've not seen it. The second half for me was disappointing because we didn't really show any attempt to actually win that game, and that is actually unacceptable at a club at Juve with our situation where we needed win. We need wins. We cannot, another draw is not helping us. So that is the sad part. And, if I see that, I cannot describe that game as a positive game or as a very good game, because that second half, we didn't do really anything to try to win that game. And it was there to win, So anyways, let me know in the comments what you think. Again, the question, let me know, have you seen a massive change in mindset, in fight, in spirit, whatever, like Buffon described? And let me know in the comments, and then we will discuss it. And that's it. Like the video, and I'll speak to you guys tomorrow. Ciao.